Namaste, everyone. How are you? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about channeling. Right now, this is mostly me talking to you. I'm pretty much mostly in my body right now. I sound and talk like you all sound and talk, just like this, when I'm in my earthly state, which means I have the same rhythm and flow and fluctuations that you all do, but when I'm channeling, I don't. And I have been asked, why are there either long gaps when I'm talking, when I'm channeling, or why are there periods of rapid speech when I'm channeling? Those are really good questions. And they're also complete, undeniable proof that the channeling state is happening. So in this video, I wanted to explain to you a little bit about channeling and how channeling is absolutely different than just the process of receiving communications from the other side and delivering them to someone through using psychic abilities. Channeling really is its absolute own form of psychic ability. Channeling is what allows someone who has been gifted psychic abilities that are opened to what heaven calls a usable level, which means their knowing channel, their clairvoyant channel, their clairaudient channel, their clairsentient channel, their sacral channel, their root channel. All their psychic abilities are open and expanded to what heaven calls a usable level, which means that person is allowed to receive communications from the other side. Channeling involves all of that, but in addition to that, the person who has psychic abilities also has another ability. They have a channeling ability. A channeling ability, which Kuan Yin, Jesus, and God have explained to me, is an additional spiritual gift that someone has been created with, where their soul is at a more advanced level with their level of purity, their level of ethics, and what God has deemed them to be allowed to have additional spiritual gifts that have allowed them to connect deeper and stronger with the guides and the angels in heaven in a closer, more intimate level. They call it a merged state. That means the guides and the angels, and also the friends and family, the earthlings in heaven on the other side, have the chance to merge inside that person's body and use them as their own personal channel and talk directly through them in sentences, paragraph level state, which means they're not just discerning words and pictures from the guide or the angel that is standing next to them, but rather that guide or angel is actually fully in them and talking directly through them to whoever is in front of them. Some of the symbolisms that my guides gave to me in the very beginning when they came and reactivated me and called upon me to work for them. And they reminded me that I was an advanced channeler, a master level channeler, was they showed me a microphone and they said, think you are a microphone for us. a mouthpiece, which means we enter you and we use you like a microphone for us to speak through. Kuan Yin said, they make what's called a full merge in me, which means they fully merge into my body and talk directly to you through me at any given moment. Back to, why do I sound different when I channel? This is why. When they're inside of me, they are fully using me. My soul is pushed out. Kuan Yin has shown me visions how when she enters me, she pushes my soul out. She and the others will enter me from behind, as if there were angel wings that come in at the top of my back. They enter me right at that point where angel wings would meet at the top of my back. They enter me there and they push my soul out. I feel my soul leave my body, and I feel my soul leave in a push state, and I always feel my soul leave and shift up and off to the left side. The channelings come in either with a slow process with pauses or rapid degrees of speaking, depending on how strong or how much energy that guide or that angel is working through me to communicate. I am at the mercy of exactly keeping up with the vibration and the strength and the flow of the energy of the guide or angel that is communicating through me. Remember, they're not in a physical body. They're in their perfect soul state, and they're using my physical body. They've not just linked with me, they're actually inside of me. By the way, when they're inside of me, channeling through me, I get to feel their vibration. And because they're guides and angels, I get to feel the vibration of the most blissful love, rapture. When it's Jesus, God, and Kuan Yin, Buddha, and Mary, I get to feel euphoria. It feels so much more amazing than I honestly think I can probably put into words. I never want it to actually end, especially when it's the Ascended Masters and God. I love being a channeler, and that's actually one of the biggest reasons why. It's when I'm in that merged state with them, the vibrations of love that I get to feel when they're in me and get to be a part of the experience with them. It's like nothing else. When it's over and they shift out of me, they then pull my soul back, and it's this feeling of kind of like a letdown. They pull my soul back, and I come back into my body, and then I'm back into the human state. And then it feels kind of like, oh, immediately I miss their presence. When Kuan Yin is in me channeling, she's operating, as well as the other guides and angels, from being in a pure energetic state. She's also dependent on my willingness to use my bravery and my cooperation, which means I can't shut down. If I have a moment of going into fear and doubt, what will happen? I will shut down and I will become an ineffective channel for her or any of the guides or angels to channel through. So one of my jobs is I have to maintain, and it's difficult, a very fearless, brave state, and be willing to let them speak through me whatever it is they need to accomplish, which also goes with the writing. I also need to write down when they want to write through me. everything they need written. If I let fear get in my way, I can stop the pen from writing on the paper, which stops their messages from being delivered, which is my blog on my website. If I do that, I become ineffective for them. I also fail to do my job. So, part of a master level channeler, and I'll get into that part of what differentiates a channeler from a master level channeler is actually also the person's level of bravery, in addition to the level of purity and ethics, and how much determination, perseverance, dedication, devotion. These are all the messages that God, Jesus, and Kuan Yin have given me over the years that have gone into lifetimes of fine-tuning the master level channeling ability that they have shown me I achieved when God actually created me as a master level channeler. When I say achieved, they showed me that at any given moment, through any one of my incarnations, I could have chosen to fail. I could have fallen short. I could have walked away from the job. I could have walked away from the bravery. I could have walked away from how difficult it is sometimes. They showed me that I used the perseverance, the dedication, and the devotion, and I fought through a lot of difficult periods, and I kept working, and I maintained my position with them, and I maintained my position as the master level channeler that God created my soul to be when He created my soul. And that kept rewarding me with more karmic blessings to keep the gift that God gave me, Kuan Yin said, with my birthright, the birthright with my soul being created at the level of a master level channeler, in being allowed to hold it. When I started getting those messages many years ago is when I took it much more seriously. So when you hear me channel and there are gaps, be patient. It is not a matter that I've forgotten words. It's not a matter of anything more than I'm trying to stay out of whichever guide or angel is using me. I'm staying out of their way. They are in control. I have to use extraordinary levels of patience, bravery, and cooperation. And it is actually difficult during the quiet periods because I'm aware that I'm not talking and that there's pauses, and that in our very busy earthly world, everyone typically wants action at every given moment, when the channelings are opposite and they're being flooded at you very fast. Do your best to catch every single word that's being flooded at you, because sometimes I have no control on how to slow it down if their energy is so strong and so powerful. And my job again is to not miss a word for them or for you. It's to keep up for them and for you, so that they get everything out they need to get out, and so that you hear everything that they need and want you to hear. As a child, I remembered I was an advanced channeler. My whole childhood, teenage years, early adult years, I remembered crystal clear that I was an advanced channeler and that I was a guide working on earth here to help God and mankind again, and that I was never allowed to tell anybody those words because of fear of criticism and what persecution and unjust judgments would happen to me, and what especially friends and family would put me through with their unfair persecutions. The message that God told me frequently as an adolescent was I was never to speak it until I became an adult. And that when I became an adult, I would become strong enough to be able to handle the unjust persecution and criticism that would be put on me because of their fears. God does want me to enlighten the world about the channeling ability. God explained to me He wants people to understand how I am able to get not just sentences, but paragraphs after paragraphs of messages and hear Him and Jesus and any guide or angel that communicates to me clearly and accurately. The blog I write on my website is all channeled. A lot of the messages are very advanced and they're very difficult. They take a lot of courage for me to actually push, publish, and send. I was asked to do this video to help share and enlighten people about the reality that there are some master level channelers on earth. God showed me there's actually just a select few. I happen to be one. He wants people to understand master level channelers are extraordinarily rare and unique. We get paragraph after paragraph of words that non-master level channelers do not get. These messages are much, much more advanced. Heaven wants their messages delivered. The ones that are difficult, no, are not always easy to read and accept. And trust me, they're not always easy for me to deliver. They're very difficult, in fact. Probably more difficult for me to deliver than for you to have to read. But as Jesus told me several years ago, when He and God called upon me and asked me to start delivering the more advanced messages through the blog, and I was nervous about it, He appeared to me after I delivered a few, and I was having anxiety about it, and He said, Maureen, they may not like the messages you always deliver, but they will be glad that you came. And then He showed me a vision of how many people will reflect on them, even after they push the messages away initially. They will swing back to them at some point. And that if I hadn't had the courage to deliver them, it wouldn't have saved them from making mistakes. And if I hadn't shown up here and done the work, they would be in worse places in their afterlife. And then He showed me it's helping God and Jesus, because it's helping them give the people here on earth a better opportunity to create a better afterlife for themselves. So they keep me strong and they remind me of this aspect. When I had my miraculous experience and heaven called upon me and reactivated my psychic abilities at age 36, and I had the 2-month experience of seeing 7 or 8 of my spiritual guides, one of my guardian angels, and my deceased father in that 2-month period. And afterwards, feeling very overwhelmed, unfortunately, I tried to push it all away. I tried to go back to life as usual, and I didn't receive it graciously through that roller coaster. Eventually, when I was able to embrace them, and I was able to embrace my gifts and let them in and let them train me and teach me, and finally, I came forward and decided to go on board with them. I heard the term master level channeler. They told me I was a master level channeler, and they wanted me to put it on my business card. This was when they put me to work publicly, and I had to make a decision of exactly what they wanted me to put on my business cards. They wanted me to put my name, first of all, not to use any other name except my name. And I was like, oh boy. All right. When I heard master level channeler, I went, oh, I remember advanced channeler. So it did resonate with me strongly, but I also fought it, and I went, oh, okay, well, first of all, I vaguely remember, yeah, I do know advanced level channeler, but if you want me to use a master level channeler next to my name, that's just gonna make me like sound so like hippie and weird, and like I don't know if I can do that. So I fought it. I went into cold feet. Yes, I went into the thinking of what will the neighbors think, unfortunately. And I fought it for about a few weeks. And I was on a deadline with the printer and the graphic designer, and they both needed me to make a decision, and they both were on me to make a decision. And after asking my series of guides and angels, who I at that point now were in constant communication with multiple times a day, every day, and I had sought guidance from them for a nonstop 2-week period on this topic, and received answers from them every time I asked on this topic, because it was a big issue for me and for them. And they gave me multiple different ways of answering it and validated, you are master level channeler for higher level communications. And they would answer it in those words, and they would open me up and show me channeling as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, and they'd put me in a trance and show me this again and again and again. Finally, after the second week of my guides and angels answering that same question, when I go back into fear and anxiety that I couldn't do it, I was laying in bed one night, and still in anxiety, I asked them again. And my guides and angels had already taught me this lesson. That guides and angels will answer a question once, twice if you're lucky. Typically 3 times they will not answer you. And at that point, they'd answered me for a 2-week period on this topic. And so I already knew I had more than pushed boundaries. It was 10 o'clock at night. I was sitting up in my bed, and I asked them, I know I've already asked you this question, and I've over-exhausted it so many times, and I'm so sorry, but I need to ask it again. Really, master level channeler, and their term actually is master level channeler for communications for the higher realms is actually the real title. And I just sat there and I went, oh, I'm gonna ask it again. I asked it again, and I'm sitting there and I got silence. And I went, oh no, silence. I've never been met with silence from them. And I panicked. And I went, oh no, I upset them, I think. I've never upset them yet. Well, okay, I did upset them when I walked away from my gifts. Okay, so this is like the second time I've upset them. Oh no, I've upset them. Oh, I've upset them. So I've upset them. And I'm sitting there, and it went on for like 15 minutes, I think. And then all of a sudden, the biggest vibration just went right in to my stomach. I didn't see it coming from anywhere. All of a sudden, it actually just went into me and it started from into me. And at the same time, this huge vibration just took me over. My third eye opened. And as my third eye opened, this vibration kept building inside of me and then coming from the outside of me. And as the third eye opened, I saw this huge ball of white light suspended in a huge blue sky. And I went, what? And I remember all of a sudden feeling very small. And the voice was very powerful and very loud. And the voice said, Source of life, Creator, all-knowing, all-loving, all-forgiving, Creator of life, God, you are. And then I went, God. And then I said to myself, oh my gosh, they pulled in God. I'm in trouble. And then from the ball of light, God said, you are. And right then I saw all these little white balls of light fall right from God's light down into this huge pool of water, like this big ocean, this endless pool of water where I could not see where the pool of water ended. I saw massive amounts of balls of glowing white light fall from his white light down to this pool of water. He said, you are master level channeler of communications for the higher realms, born and created by me, Creator of life, born and created to be since the beginning of your soul. And I went, and then he said, and I watched the balls all float in the water, and he turned my head down, and he showed me them all floating down their own individual paths in the pool of water. And then he explained to me, every soul he created to have their own unique individual path. And as I'm watching all of the souls he created float down their own individual path, he said, and this is all actually written down in my notebook, so I need to get my notebook to actually get exactly what he said next. Claim your title of who you are. You are master level channeler. Use it. Be honest. Say who you are. And then he had me put my hand up and asked me to promise him that I would own who I am and be honest about it. And my hand went up like this. And he said, put it on your cards. And at that point, I was so overwhelmed. I said, I promise. And he said, basically, to not back down, to be who exactly you were created to be. And then all of a sudden, he filled me with so much love, with so much light. I started to see white light go all in me, all around me. He lifted my body up off my bed. I couldn't even feel where my body began and ended in connection with God. God elevated me up off the bed and merged me with him in the most extraordinary way. It was the first time that I actually experienced what is known as rapture, bliss, euphoria. I couldn't get over it. I couldn't feel the bed underneath me. I couldn't feel my physical body, I now know He lifted my soul up out of my body and brought my soul all the way up into His energy, is what He did. He elevated me all the way up out of my body and merged me with Him and suspended me there and held me with Him for, it felt like a few minutes. It probably was more like about maybe a minute. I was so overwhelmed. It was the most miraculous experience. When He did that was when I made the final commitment to God. And I said, it shall be. I will never turn away from this. If that hadn't happened, I don't think I would have been able to embrace who I actually really am. When God gave me that amazing gift, it helped break down my walls of fear and helped me accept who I am. And it made me be more committed to pleasing Him, serving Him, and then serving all the guides and the angels and your loved ones in their afterlife. And I have continued to do so every day since that experience. God, after I committed myself to Him, then eventually put me back into my body when I vowed yes and gave Him my word. He then lovingly, slowly put my soul back into my body with His blessing, let me know that He was pleased. And then when He released me, I laid there, still in a state of rapture and euphoria, for an incredibly long time. I was unable to fall asleep for a couple hours. The vibrations that He continued to give to me continued for a few hours. I now know what He was doing was He was increasing my frequency, He was raising my vibration, He was accelerating everything and getting me ready to work at a higher level. I didn't understand what all the vibrations were then. Over the years, I was educated. He was increasing the frequency of everything, the psychic abilities, the mind, the body, so that I could work for the Ascended Masters and the angels in Him when I made the promise to accept who I am and to work for Him at that level. The next day, I called my graphic designer and said, done, put Master Channeler on. I'll deal with anybody who wants to tease me or give me a hard time. It is what it is. That's how Master Channeler got delivered to me. Since this was such a long video, I'll explain to you more about what else Master Channeler also means in an upcoming video. But they wanted me to share that personal experience with you. So that's it for this video on channeling and a little bit of my personal experience with Master Channeling. More to come on future videos. And until then, don't forget to like and subscribe our videos and let the Ascended Masters and God know you like our channel. It will inspire them to make them tell me to come sit in this chair and to do these videos, because I'm only sitting here because they tell me to, by the way. Which, by the way, if you have any topics that you want covered, go ahead, send your requests in. They will see them. I tune in, I take their orders, they tell me what they wish to cover. So if there's anything that you guys are interested in learning from them, now is your time to ask for your requests. I'm sure they'll be happy to give you clarity on things that you're interested in covering at some point. Until then, this is Oracle Maureen, helping you connect with the wisdom that heaven has to give to you. Until next time, many blessings to you now and for always. Amen.